Hello, family. Well, um, I believe it's time to review the book or maybe do a little read for you, especially for those who couldn't grab copy of the book or copies of the book, um, and who still haven't read it. I thought it was as the best birthday gift I could ever give you all. So I'm just doing this for all of you. So this book actually talked about my journey through chronic kidney disease, and it actually talked about the first 10 years of my journey from 2007 to 2017. The title of the book is A Decade of My Life Behind My Smile. And I know people keep asking why behind my smile. It's just because I smile doesn't mean that I don't have problem. I'm smiling but still struggling with my chronic kidney disease. So behind that smile, there is a chronic kidney disease fighter who is always fighting. So at the back of the book, I have smiles, the beauty of life. When you see her smiling, you will think she has no problem. That's all is well. Abigail Ashley, a survivor of chronic kidney disease, has proven with surety that even in these unsteady times, God remembers his children. That's a miracle do happen, and a miracle she is. She walked through the tunnel of death without dying and living as a testimony to the fact that only inspire you but give you reasons to keep pressing on and trusting God in spite of your challenges. Thinking of healthy living, here is a book you will drive to it. Abigail assures us that with God and being mindful of your lifestyle, you are bound to live healthily. Highly recommended. So that was the back of the page I just read to you. And when you open the book, you see a decade of my life behind my smile. Everything written in there. And actually, I just also wrote a note here which read, I owe it all to you, 10 years of my life and still counting. I can't stop thanking you for your mercies and grace. It has been God's mercies and grace throughout the years, and I'm so thankful. He's been so merciful. So merciful. Sometimes I wonder if I even deserve it. But I'm being told once you're a child of God, you deserve all the mercies and his grace. And I'm very thankful to God for how far he's brought me. All right, so when you open, you see the content. And the content, we have acknowledgement, forward, introduction. And chapter 1, I title it A Nail in My Head. Chapter 2, Swallowing the Crocodile. Chapter 3, Between God and Me. And chapter 4, All is Not Lost. Dream a New Dream, and some testimonies. All right, so that's the forward. It was forwarded by Mrs. Elsie Edwaji, Elsie Awazi. It was forwarded by Mrs. Elsie Awazi. Yeah, an international legal expert, actually. And I actually dedicated the book, if you can see, I actually dedicated it to all chronic kidney patients across the world. I dedicated the book to you. To all those around the world suffering from kidney disease, both young and old, I say, don't give up. The Lord is on your side. You shall sail through. That was me. So, right, let me start with you, nail inside my hair, how it all began. Well, for years, I think before the 2007, when I was diagnosed, I used to have this constant headache. But because of my job, actually, I thought it was stress from work. So when it happens like that, I just take a painkiller and I'm good to go. But this headaches never stops. It keep hitting me the headache that comes and you feel like using your head to hit the wall. Even when you are straight from the salon, you want to put water in your hair just to make sure that you calm that headache down. That was the kind of headache I was having. And I just go to the hospital, they just give me painkiller, and I'll just be taking the painkiller. Yet the headaches wasn't going. I just didn't know why. And I kept complaining, but well, nothing happened. Until one night. Yeah, until that night. I went to bed. I actually woke up that morning and I was feeling tired. I was restless. I couldn't move. I was just, I don't know how I could, I was breathless and everything was doing me, what's wrong with me this morning? I just don't know. I couldn't even climb just two stairs. I just couldn't climb it. And you know me, I'm the bubbling type, running around, jumping around. So I was a bit confused until in the evening when I went to sleep and I started coughing. I was coughing throughout the night and I just woke up just to realize that whilst coughing, I was coughing blood and I have to get out of my bed, try to crawl to my mom's room, wake her up, just to call neighbors to drive me to the airport clinic. At the airport clinic, that's where they checked my BP. That was the first time I actually heard about BP anyway. They checked my BP, they said my BP was too high. So they have to calm me down. They have to put me on some oxygens and things because I wasn't breathing well. I was finding it difficult to breathe. And my pressure was also high. And they gave me oxygen. I was there. The following morning, I realized that I'm all swollen up and I didn't know what to do. Fortunately for me, a doctor from Kwalebu came around, Dr. Mwako. He came around, and because I was swollen and finding it difficult to breathe, he just told them to get him a needle and syringe, and he just tapped some fluid from my back. After that tap, I was able to breathe, and he also recommended that I'm being taken to Kwalebu Teaching Hospital for proper diagnosis and checks. So I was later moved from the airport clinic and we had to go to Kwalebu. At Kwalebu, that time, that was where they did the lab test and everything and realized that it's a chronic kidney disease. And the doctors were asking me, wasn't I feeling anything? I said, I know I was only having headaches. And I go to this private hospital and then they just keep giving me painkiller, different painkiller after painkiller because I go to the same place and I complain. They give me a painkiller. I come back and I complain again that the painkiller is not working because I take it and still my headache wasn't going. And then so they just keep giving me painkillers and that was it. But at Kolebu, I was diagnosed that I have chronic kidney disease and end-stage chronic kidney disease. Which from there, my life changed all of a sudden. And thanks to Dr. Joachim Amwako for that. I mean, he's been so like a personal doctor now. Anything I have to call him now. So he was there for me. They checked me, and then at Kolebu, I was asked to go to the renal clinic because they actually deal with renal issues. So I was referred to the renal clinic, and I went to the renal clinic. I met Dr. Charlotte Osafo. She also did her diagnosis, and I had to run some few tests there with her. And then she was like, because of how small my kidneys are, they can't do a biopsy. But I have to start thinking about dialysis and blah, 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 transplants. And she kept going and on. And then she later asked me if I believe in God. And I said, yes, I do believe in God. And then she was like, this situation is only God that can come in. So if you really believe in God, then keep praying. I said, okay, I will. So I have to go back to Dr. Makon. He is actually at Kolebu, but he only goes to the airport clinic, I think, in the evenings or for their locum, the usual doctor stuff. So I went to him again at Kolibu and told him, all right, so when I was referred to Rena, that's what Dr. Charlotte Asafo said. What do you also have for me? And I remember I told him for dialysis, out of the question for me, because being, I went to the dialysis unit and seeing people on the dialysis is something I don't want to do, especially when I had a chat with one man who said he started the dialysis and because he didn't have money to continue, his tummy has bloated and he looks like a pregnant woman. I told him, listen, I don't have anybody to pay this dialysis for me. And I don't think we have enough to be on dialysis for the rest of my life. Or so when God will call me. And for the transplant too, seriously, with the amount of money they are mentioning, I don't think we can afford. So if there is any other way, any other recommendation he can give me. So it was there and then Dr. Amako asked me to go to the diet therapy clinic. But he also advised me that because my pressure is high, there are a few things I can do to reduce the blood pressure, which he mentioned I should reduce my salt intake. If possible, I should go off at all. Cut off red meat, no fizzy drinks, no alcohol because already I wasn't drinking alcohol, no smoking. I don't smoke, so those things wasn't much for me. But the no salt was a bit of a challenge at the beginning. But once I started it and it was working, I realized that once I started it, the body itself started adjusting and I was feeling better when I wasn't taking the salt. So I said, okay, let me just continue. And so I went to the diet therapy clinic and that's where I think I met Abdul Aziz. Yeah. Fresh from school, and then he also added a little tidbit to it for me. He also mentioned the no salt diet. He also mentioned the matchbox of protein if I want protein, and the sugary stuff, the fixed drinks. If I'm able to cut it, I'll be able to maintain it. So I said, why not? At least it's cheaper than go on the dialysis machine or having a kidney transplant. So if I could do it and it could work for me, already when Dr. Marco mentioned it, I started it and I could see I was feeling better. The fatigue and nauseating and all those things were reducing a bit. So I was getting much better with the medications that was given to me. I was getting a bit better. So when the dietitian added his, I said, yeah, okay, no problem. I will continue. So I continued with it, and it was a no salt diet, low fat, no protein or little protein, especially just fish I was using. And yeah, and at the time I was peeing a bit, so I was able to take in some water and I was taking some water. So that's how I was managing it, small by God's grace. Going to the hospital, checking. It's been a journey, but God has been faithful. And until 2012, 2012. Okay, so before then, whilst even going to the clinic, doing things and managing my life, I realized there were a lot of things many people also didn't know. So once I'm in the media, once I'm working with a radio station at that time, it was Choice FM. I could just use my platform to also educate people. So at Choice, I had opportunity to use my little knowledge from the hospital about how diet affects our life to promote healthy lifestyle. I was just doing this show, Food Gallery, where I invite doctors, they come, they talk. Actually, the Ministry of Health came on board to support me. Ministry of Health, the Regenerative Health and Nutrition Unit, they were on board supporting me. And I remember I even had an interview with the late Courage Kwashiga, who also mentioned to me, Abigail, if only I knew what I know now. After his trip to Dimona in Israel, there was a huge change in this man, and he shared his story for us on the show one of the times. So he also talked about healthy lifestyle, reducing our meat, exercising, drinking a lot of water. So it's the same process everywhere. You just have to follow it for a healthy lifestyle. So we interview a lot of people, a lot of doctors, uh, a lot of people on the show. It was a great show. It was well recognized. It's won an award actually. So I'm very grateful to the management of Choice FM for that opportunity, for letting me share my story and using my story to also teach people about healthy lifestyle. So moving on, in 2012, I had a call. I had a call from Dr. Father Dixon. Yeah, that call, that call that changed my life. That call really changed my life. I'm telling you, that call. Yeah, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I didn't pick the call. Yeah, he actually called because um Kokroko Peace FM morning show, which is being hosted by Chairman General Kwame Sefakai, was actually with the Ghana Pentecostal Council or something. They wanted to build a dialysis unit at 37. So they wanted to find out if I would like to share my kidney story, which also happens to be a World Kidney Day. And when he said that, I wasn't bothered. I wasn't worried. So I said, why not? Already, the doctors have told me that if I don't do the dialysis or the transplant, I will not live for the next 5 years. So why not? And then whatever will happen, let it happen. So even if I'm not living, that was my thought actually. If I'm not living and I could just share my story for people to know, why not? So I was ready to share my story, how it all started and how it's been and what I'm doing, just for the listeners to also have an idea of what chronic kidney disease is about. But my life changed. There was a turnaround after that interview. After the interview, I had people donating for me for a transplant. I had people calling in, and that was when I first heard the voice of Dr. Kwame Despite, who called and he said, "We are going to take care of you from now on." And I say it to the glory of God. From 2012 to this date, despite group of companies, special group of companies, have been taking care of me. Seriously, who am I? They've been taking care of me from 2012. And thanks to one other man, was he actually paid a trip for me to go to India for a transplant. Yes, so in 2012, I think somewhere in June, I went to Israel for a transplant. But when we got there, the doctors were amazed. My lab reports and my physical health was two different things. They were like, someone with chronic kidney disease in your situation shouldn't even be walking. But you are walking, you are healthy. Your lab results and your physical you it's two different things. So we advise you to go back to your country, go and continue whatever you are doing, the God you are serving, go and continue serving him. But should there be any changes, just call us. If you want us to, just call on us. So I was surprised because we had all it takes to have that transplant at the time. But with the doctors advice. We just have to come back. And they also advised me in India that even after chronic kidney, after the transplants, I'll still be on medication. And it's not like 100%. It depends. So if my lab and my physical me is showing two different things, I should just hold on to it. So we came back to Ghana. I actually went with Victoria Corantin, now Mrs. Victoria Asari. We actually came back to Ghana. Just like that. Still struggling to keep my head up, walking shoulder high. And it's been like that from 2012. So this book actually talk about everything. And I know people keep asking me, what have you been doing? What do you do to yourself? Yeah, I've been eating well. Just like I told you, the doctors asked me to cut down on the salt because of my blood pressure. My blood pressure was too high, and still managing to bring the pressure down. Cut down on red meat, cut down on the sugars, cut down on processed food, cut down on fats, and then just make sure that I eat well and manage my life very well. So that's what I've been doing for the past years, and God has been so grateful. And I don't play with my God. I keep praying, believing God for His mercies. Keep praying, believing God that things will change for me. I keep praying and believing God for a fresh new kidney. And I won't spill it. All right, so that's just a summary of a decade of my life behind my smile. Well, I'm not a good summer, but you can still get copies of the book. It's on Jumia now, and we still have some at Peace FM. Those who don't have copies yet, you can still pass by for it. It's just 10 Ghana cedis, yeah, 10 Ghana cedis for one. So you can still grab a copy and read Behind My Smile, a decade of my life. And I told you it's from 2007 to 2017. I promise you, if something new come up, I will inform you. And truly, something new has come up. So watch out for the part 2 of the book, which is coming very soon, very, very soon, and you enjoy it. God is still in the miracle business. If He has done it for me, He can do it for you. I'm not looking at David, neither am I looking at Hannah or Joseph in the Bible. I'm looking at myself, the present me, just me, me, Abigail. God has done it for me. I believe He can do it for you. Who am I to receive grace and mercies from the Almighty God? He's been there from day one. He's been there from day one. And thank you so much, Dr. Kwame Despite of the Despite Group of Companies. Thank you so much, Dr. Florissa Bomb of the Special Group of Companies. Father Dixon, that call that has changed my life to date. I'm so very grateful to you. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless your family, and God give you strength and long life. In Jesus' name, amen. To all my friends, to all my family, I thank you so much. For all of you who bought the book to support a sister, and those who are even about to buy one now, thank you so much. I'm so very, very grateful. I love you, and I'll always love you. You're always in my heart, and you forever and ever be there as long as I live. God bless us all, and God bless you. So this is my small birthday gift I'm giving to you all. I believe you've enjoyed it. Thanks for enjoying the summary of the book. Thank you so much. Behind my smile, a decade of my life. That's smart. Thank you.